All right, good morning, guys and gals. I've had quite a few questions sent to me about why a Camaro radiator in my Ram Charger. And the short answer is dollars. All right. The long answer is it actually works pretty darn good. I must say, to give you a little bit of research and a little bit of what went behind all this, I was poking around the internet at some other swaps, and I came across a company who does four-cylinder Cummins swaps, and I won't mention their name, but after watching some of their videos, I did see that they were testing this fan, this pulse width modified GM fan you see here, okay? And it moved high amounts of CFM, did a wonderful job for them. So I kind of felt in the early research, I thought, well, maybe that fan would work great for me. So I reached out and searched eBay and, you know, several other places, Rock Auto and your average doorman sites, and found one on eBay pretty inexpensively. Now, the only problem with it is it had a damaged mounting ear. Well, my theory is I was going to mount this back to my original radiator, and at that point I kind of said, well, that mounting ear won't really matter to me. I do enough modifications and can do enough what I need to do. I'll just go ahead and get this fan, and I'm going to roll with it, because it was about a third of what it would have cost to buy new. So I purchased the fan, got it home, started mocking it up on the old radiator, and came to the conclusion that it was just going to be very difficult to make this fan work on top of my old radiator. Then the second part of that was, once I started looking inside the radiator and taking a look at what I had, the radiator itself needed to be replaced. It was starting to be plugged and corroded. And remember, and this is a 1984. So that being said, that had a lot of years on it, and I just decided that rather than try to modify this fan and make it work on the existing Ram Charger radiator, let's make it fit. Let's buy the radiator that it fits. All right, that kind of made some sense. So I purchased a Camaro radiator from Rock Auto, and $120 for the radiator, which I thought was pretty reasonable for a brand new aluminum radiator with plastic tanks. And then I also got to thinking that the Camaro has roughly the same cubic inches and roughly the same horsepower, along with the Cadillac CTS, I think it is, runs this same radiator and cooling fan combo. Now, what came along with that also is the pulse width modification system. So this fan does not have on and off, essentially, all right? There was a speed controller built into the fan itself, and that speed controller adjusts the fan speed according to signals sent to it along a signal wire. Now, as you see up in the upper corner there are two pretty big, heavy 10 gauge, in fact, maybe even 8 gauge wires that run this fan. This fan really pulls some amperage up on high speed. But the beauty of it is it doesn't pull much amperage at lower speeds. And it is a variable speed type fan. The pulse width modification fan takes its signal from my transmission controller through a CAN bus from the ECU and sends out a signal, and it tells this fan what speed to run at what temperature. And one thing about that is you don't get a heavy, huge spike when this thing starts. It's a very low, minimal draw. It does need a 100 amp circuit breaker to run the thing, which I mounted down here. A little hard to see down in here, but it is mounted down on the side of the radiator support down here at the bottom. Let me see if I can swing around and get it. Yeah, you can't really see it. It's down in here, and it's a very short run from that 100 amp right up to this connector. And these connectors are available on the internet. Again, that's something else that you can pick up. I think I picked mine up again off of eBay. But I must say, that's why I'm running it. And this thing has done flawlessly. Now, again, I didn't get it running in the heat of the summer. I'm not running air conditioning currently, so there's no load from that. I don't have a condenser out front. And so it's a little light on that. But temperature-wise, this thing does fabulous, and that fan pulls some really, really good air through that, and it does a wonderful job of cooling. So that's kind of why the Camaro radiator, guys. I probably could have used Challenger stuff, but the fact that I'd already purchased the fan, I decided to buy the radiator that the fan fit, and it was more of an economic thing, essentially. But I'm very happy with it. It's 1.25 inches in, 1.25 inches out, so you have to do a little bit of work with that. And I think, as I've said in a previous video, what I did to the upper neck is I just reduced it with a piece of 1.25 tubing, and I, as you can see, I welded the old cap together and then put out a 1.25 out of the end of it. And I built a little barb on the end of it so the hose wouldn't pull off. And for the lower end, I bought there's a guy out there that makes these adapters to go from hose size to hose size, and this happens to be 1 3/4 down to 1 1/4. And then again, it allows me to drop this holding tank that's above it here down into the circulation where it needs to be. If you take a look at the plumbing of a new closed loop system, you'll see that the holding tank needs to drop into the inlet of the water pump, and that's what that is on the bottom down there. So again, guys, just thought I'd throw out a little one more little video associated with the Ram Charger. And again, 2018 Camaro center radiator. Now, one thing I will throw out there too, the Camaro also has additional small radiators in the front, 2 small ones on either side. If you look this up, this is the center radiator. They have 2 very small, I want to say probably 1 foot by 8-inch radiators also mounted in the 2 corners. This vehicle doesn't need it by any means. So any questions, guys, shoot them in the comments. Give me a like, give me a thumbs up, give me a subscribe, whatever you want to do. And if it's something you want me to talk about my Ram Charger, let me know, and I'll be more than happy to get on there. But it happens to be Monday, the day before Election Day, so my little public service announcement is go out and get out and vote. Doesn't really matter what candidate it's for, just exercise your right to vote, and then you have that option to complain in the future. All right, enough political on this channel. Keep them flying, guys. Talk to you later.